Zelensky is a problem created by the United States of America. We're the ones who took this failed politician and we elevated him into the new Winston Churchill. Hell, we brought him into the People's House where he gave, you remember, the best speech in the history of the United States Congress. That's how good Zelensky is. He gave the best speech in the history of the United States Congress. I mean, this man was magic. He was Time Magazine's Man of the Year last year. I mean, he could do no wrong. He was the golden child. He was the best thing in the world. He's been replaced by Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I was about to say supplanted by Taylor Swift.
Love story, baby. So it's a love story. But nobody's talking about this guy. Nobody cares about the guy. Did you see the video he made? I mean, there's a video running around where he's speaking directly to the American people. And he's basically asking us to stop repairing roads and doing anything for a day and give the money to Ukraine so he can fund everything. And it's in this ridiculous, stupid accent. Don't repair potholes for a day and give me the money so I can pay my people, my pensions. We can do this, but for a day, don't spend the money on you. Spend it on me. I mean, come on. This is what he's reduced to. He wouldn't have to do that kind of stuff. He just had to show up and give some sort of lie. His Oscar acceptance speech, repeated over and over again to Parliament, to Congress, to President, to everybody. And money just flowed like the river. Not anymore. Nope. He can't. Now, yeah, he's out, talking directly to the American people as if, hey, Zelensky, let me just give you a professional tip. Don't ask the American people not to repair potholes. You see, we are a nation that likes to drive cars. And if you want to really piss us off, have a pothole in my street. You want to get my attention as a voter as I'm driving to work and pop, pop, that pisses me off. So my politicians stay in office by repairing potholes. Okay. So ask us to do anything but not repair the potholes. That's just how separated this man is from reality. But it's ridiculous what this guy has come down to. He's a cartoon character that has lost all utility. He was nothing more than a tool to serve as a vehicle, a conduit through which we could justify sending all this money to Ukraine. We had glorified him as a hero, but now he is a nobody. He is an anti-hero. The media's turned on him. Everybody's turned on him. It was sort of pathetic to watch even Joe Biden turn on him. I mean, it in some ways, I'm sort of sorry for this guy, even though I'm not. I'm just there's enough humanity in me to feel sorry for a guy that's been lied to and abandoned and isolated because we have betrayed him. I mean, he deserves it because his cause isn't worthy of what we're asking the American taxpayer to fund or what he's asking the Ukrainian soldier to die for. Remember, 400,000 Ukrainian soldiers have died in this war. That's a lot. I do feel sorry for him because he is being betrayed. This is the ultimate betrayal. Now we know how Ashraf Ghani felt as he walked to his helicopter with all his suitcases full of money, betrayed. So don't feel too bad for Zelensky because he's got a lot of money stashed away. If he can get out of Ukraine alive, he'll do okay. But he has been betrayed by the United States, by Europe, by NATO.
Yeah. And maybe we can talk about his visit because I think his visit encapsulates a lot of this. And first, perhaps we can hear Chuck Schumer because some of the last remaining support that Zelensky has, and here's Alex Christopher with the clown emojis. I think it's of the Duran with the clown emojis. I think it's pretty apt because the more we hear about Zelensky's his recent visit to DC, the more we can only think of almost like a clown. So there's only a few that still support him, and the narrative is only getting more ridiculous. So here's what Chuck Schumer had to say.
Okay, folks, I'll be very brief. It was a very powerful meeting. President Zelensky made it so clear how he needs help. But if he gets the help, he can win this war. And he outlined in some great detail the kind of help he needs and how it will help him win. Even many of our Republican colleagues talked about we are winning this war. And if we get the help that if he gets the help he needs, he will win. On the other hand, he made it clear, and we all made it clear, that if we lose, Putin wins. And this will be very, very dangerous for the United States. We cannot let Putin influence through any surrogate what we need to do for Ukraine. He also did one other thing. He needs the aid quickly. If we don't get the aid quickly, several things will happen. First, the military needs, but second, Europe and many other allies will say, what is going on here? They're not giving the aid.
So there you go. Mr. Chuck Schumer said the Putin is going to win. He doesn't get the aid. He didn't get it. I mean, he didn't convince anybody. The Republican majority Senate, actually, even there were some who commented that it was the same old script. That there wasn't anything new, and that there were some people who walked out of the meeting. So, Scott, your reaction?
Well, first of all, what Schumer was saying is, he said Zelensky told us exactly what he needed. Please elaborate, Chuck. I'll elaborate for him. Zelensky had an amazing shopping list because they're used to giving us shopping lists, and we respond. If you recall, General Zaluzhny gave us a shopping list last fall of the hundreds of tanks, infantry fighting vehicles, artillery pieces that he needed to win this war. And if we gave him 300 tanks, 500 infantry fighting vehicles, 500 artillery pieces, unlimited ammunition, a whole bunch of other stuff, that he could punch a hole through the Russian lines, sever the land bridge connecting Crimea with mainland Russia, and win the war. And so we did. We gave him everything he wanted. And he didn't accomplish what he wanted. So now what they're saying is, this time we're serious. We want FA-18 fighters. We're past the F-16 now because they know the F-16 is old junk and going to get shot down. We want the good stuff, the FA-18 fighters. We want the THAAD air defense system, that big boy of air defense, the one that can shoot down all the Russian missiles in the world. We want the THAAD. And it just goes on and on and on, this ridiculous shopping list of all the modern technology. As if Zelensky woke up and just pulled out the catalog and said, what's the best stuff they got? I mean, that's like me waking up and going to the Mercedes-Benz dealership and going, what's the best one you got? That's the one I want. It'll solve all my problems if I only have that car. So that's the shopping list he gave. It's totally unrealistic. I mean, America isn't going to give him any of that stuff. But, that shows you how stupid this is. Maybe that, if he went in high, we'd come down low. Well, Vlad, I'm glad you asked for the F-18, but this time we're really going to give you the F-16 or this. No, he's not going to get any of that because it's so stupid. And again, it has to be attached to a plan. Because what the Ukrainians are saying is, give us all the good stuff, give us all the good toys, and we're going to win. Well, you didn't. And now you say, give us more good, give us the better stuff, and we're going to win. With what plan? What plan do you have? He doesn't have a plan. They don't have a plan. They've got nothing to brief anybody right now. The United States is saying, because they don't have a plan, we need them to go on the defensive for now, and then we're going to make a plan that will have them win in 2025. The United States has written off 2024, saying it's a dead year because Ukraine got their butts kicked and there's nothing left to give them. We need them to dig in, freeze the conflict, but not Zelensky. He can't sit there and go, that's what I'll do. He wants all the new toys so he can attack now, because that's how he was programmed. That's the script that was written for him. He's an actor. He reads scripts. So this is what happens when you have a writer's strike, because the scripts used to be written by the CIA or MI6. Now he's writing his own scripts. He's one of these actors that actually believes that he is the role that was written for him. And so now he's gone off on his own. He's ad-libbing the scripts. The director wants him to do this. No. I've been playing president for 2 years, pal. Let me tell you what I'm going to say. I'm just going to ask for all the crap in the world. It's sad, actually. It's actually fairly sad. And the other thing that's happening here is Biden brought him in not so much as to cajole Congress into releasing money, because I don't think Biden really expected Congress to release money because it's too much of an ask. What happened with Congress walking away from this, Republicans, was expected, which means Biden brought Zelensky in to create political cover for Biden, to set Zelensky up for failure as a process of transferring blame away from the presidency onto Congress. And so Zelensky's visit is one last act of theater, the final act in the tragic comedy that is Volodymyr Zelensky. This guy's not long for this world. I mean, he's going back to Ukraine. His only justification for being is to be the conduit through which billions of dollars is funneled into the most corrupt country on the planet. He stays alive because all the corrupt people are enriched by his ability to attract money. But what happens in The Sopranos when you're the guy who's supposed to give the kickback to Tony and you don't give the kickback, you don't have the money? Well, somebody shows up, and that somebody, usually that long-haired dude from Italy, comes in and he kills you or he beats you up because you've lost your utility. They can't just let you walk away. You owe money. Well, Zelensky owes a lot of people money in Ukraine right now. They expect him to deliver on the goods, and he's not able to deliver on this. He's going to go back to Ukraine, and look, the Ukrainian Rada, the parliament, they're starting to disintegrate as we speak. The head of Zelensky's own party in the Rada is saying all the parliamentarians are running away. They don't want to have anything to do with this sinking ship because they're attached to this. They're going to be blamed. At some point in time, the Ukrainian people are going to be demanding heads on a pike, of the people who voted for this, facilitated this disaster, this debacle that's befallen Ukraine. And it's the Rada that are going to have their heads there alongside Zelensky. And so you see the Rada basically saying, we're out of here too. Zelensky now has political rivals who are stepping up saying, we can do a better job than you. Klitschko, the mayor of Kiev, Zaluzhny, the commander of the Ukrainian forces, are all saying, we can do a better job than Zelensky. I think you're going to see, we're watching not just the military collapse of the Ukrainian army on the battlefield, we're watching the political collapse of the Zelensky regime. And we're probably going to see in short order, if that money doesn't come in, the societal collapse of Ukraine. Because as Zelensky said in that pathetic "don't fix your pothole" speech, they don't have any money to pay anybody. No pensions are being paid. No salaries are being paid. No firefighters are going to be paid. No soldiers are going to be paid. No civil servants are going to be paid. Nobody's going to be paid because all our money was going to paying these people. And so if they can't pay these people, they're going to stop working, and they're going to start looking to Zelensky saying, hey, we want our money. So all that money you stole, give it to us. And you're going to see a mob mentality. And, one of the ironies here is that the Ukrainians have been working with the West to get a Moscow Maidan, to repeat what happened in Kiev in 2014 against Vladimir Putin, to oust him. We're probably going to see, a Maidan 3.0 unfold in Kiev, where the Ukrainian people are going to turn on Zelensky, and they may be accompanied by the Ukrainian military, which makes Maidan 3.0 a coup d'etat. And that could get bloody, that could get ugly very quick. So, there's that old Chinese curse, may you live in interesting times. The Ukraine has an abundance of interesting times coming its way, because you're seeing the total collapse of Ukraine, militarily, economically, politically, societally, if that's a word.
Yeah, that's indeed what's happening. And then what do you make of the internal conflict? Because you do have Zaluzhny. There was reports that Zaluzhny told Lloyd Austin that he wanted. So it's interesting to see this internal conflict play out, because there are reports that Zaluzhny told Lloyd Austin that he would need X number of ammunition, artillery, and Lloyd Austin had to tell him, well, that number is about 2 to 3 times more than what exists even in the world. That he was like almost shocked that someone would even utter the amount that he was requesting. And then you also have the fact that Zelensky is still definitely playing out this role. And here he is speaking with defense company leaders, basically the biggest defense contractors. And he gave a whole soliloquy to the defense contractors that have made a killing off of the conflict in Ukraine, off of NATO's proxy war. And I'm not going to play the video because the music itself is just awful. But The point is here you can see just, I mean, it's just a big kiss in the you know what that Zelensky's giving them. But at the same time, as this it doesn't really comport with the military situation that you're talking about, or even his political situation. So what does this say about not just Zelensky's future, but also how this is aligning with the overall military situation, that that he's playing this role, but the outcome is just so disastrous right now?
Well, remember that one of the arguments put forward by the Biden administration in the lead up to Zelensky's visit was, hey, all that money that we're giving Ukraine, 60% of it never leaves the country. It's just invested here at home in defense industry, which creates jobs. So, guys, this is a jobs program. We want you to release the money, and then it stays here. It's that economic, incentive you've been wanting us to do, to boost the economy. And that's what we're doing. We're funding defense industry, and there's jobs attached to that. This is good for the American economy. And, hopefully most Americans go, wait a minute. So basically, you're spending money so that the U.S. defense industry can become rich while Ukrainians die. That this isn't about outcome on the battlefield, but really just, results on the economic front here at home, which in many ways is the truth. At least they're being honest. But what Zelensky did, notice the first people he went to were the defense contractors. Why? Because he wants to make a show under the mistaken belief that if he meets with the defense contractors, they will somehow turn this jobs program into something that manifests itself politically here at home. But it fell flat. No one gives a damn. I don't think too many Americans, especially now at Christmas time, are going, you know what I want for Christmas? I want Raytheon stock prices to go up because Joe Biden released that $60 billion. And we know that 60% of that's being reinvested right here at home. I mean, the people that live in the cities and towns where these factories are probably going, please, 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 because that is a nice Christmas gift. But for the most Americans, I think, they either don't care or they're deeply resentful about what happened here. This is not a good political play, but it just shows the level of desperation that exists in the Biden administration, where they have to use Zelensky to play the we want you to release $60 billion to make Ukraine great again, but it's really about making America great again by reinvesting into the economy through these defense industries. Ain't America great? Go USA. I mean, in a way, it's a perfect thing that happened because it just shows the absolute moral vacuum that exists with Ukraine policy. That the number one selling point that the Biden administration can make to the American people is that by releasing money, it's good for the American economy. I thought it was supposed to be good for Ukrainian democracy, but they don't want to talk about that because, that question that Mike Johnson and other Republicans had, so when you get the money, what are you going to do with the money? Well, they can't answer that question because they got beat and they don't have a plan. So you replace it with a new plan. Don't ask the questions about what the Ukrainians are going to do. Let me tell you what it's going to do for us here at home. 60% is going to be right here spent jobs program, because that's what they're talking about, a jobs program. But it's a jobs program that results in dead Ukrainians and a destroyed Ukrainian nation and an altered geopolitical reality in Europe that nobody wants to talk about.
Thank you for tuning in to my latest video. I appreciate all of your support. This channel, however, needs your help. I am seeking to make this channel more sustainable in the long term and upgrade necessary equipment to ensure that this work continues onward and makes progress to give you all of the geopolitical analysis that you all deserve. For that reason, I'm asking you to become a member of my Patreon community at patreon.com/DannyDhaiphong. You can find that link in the video description or in the pinned comment below. For whatever amount you choose to give, just know you are supporting independent media that you can't find anywhere else. Thank you so much, and I look forward to the next video.